Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Carrying on doing some Christmas stuff. I've been inspired by Rachel from Roxy Creations, as I have so many times. Lately she's been doing quite a few mini journals, mini booklets, that kind of thing, and I thought I'd have a go myself. So I put this together. I've just got a few, I'll show you the signature in a little while, but I'm going to use this, I suppose you call it an A5 envelope. It's half the size of the normal envelope that I use. I was thinking of using some scrapbook paper for the cover, but I just came across this and I thought, well, actually, fold that in half, and that's just like a perfect cover for a mini journal. I'll tell you the measurements of this little envelope. It's 9 width, and the height is about nearly, not quite 6.5. 6 and 1, 2, 3/8. 6 and 3/8, that way round. So just fold that in half, and you've got a really nice little journal cover. So that's what I'm going to be working on first. The first thing I think I need to do is to seal this down. And oh, don't think this is going to peel off terribly well. I think it's probably quite an old envelope, I suspect. Just got to try and get this backing off the sticky part. Thought that would just peel off nice and easily, but no. This bit doesn't want to come off. It'd be alright, but it's sticking out a little bit, so I think that's okay. So I'll just stick that down, just get my good old art glitter glue, and stick this, just stick the flap down because we don't really want that, and it's all going to be covered up. Okay, I think that should be fine. Right, that's the first little job. Now I think what I'm going to do, I've decided to do, hang on, let's get this pin back in. To cover the journal, I'm going to use napkins because I haven't done anything with napkins this year. I did quite a few last year, used them quite a lot, and I haven't done anything for ages with napkins, so I thought it would be quite nice to cover this with a napkin. I think I'll probably do the inside as well. So the one I've chosen, I've got quite a few of these, so if it all goes wrong I can just start again, is this one. I cut a piece out. I think I've cut one of the corners out already, but what I want to use for the front, I want to use this lovely little Christmas tree because it's the perfect height, which is quite handy. So I haven't got to do any, as long as I get it on straight, it will just fit nicely. And I want to try and just get this little bit of the lamppost on as well, because I really like that. And then I shall use the other bit, the letterbox with the robin on it and the little squirrel for the back. So that's the plan. So I think I'll just scissors. I'll just cut that in half, or cut that piece away, and then we can start gluing. I'm going to use Mod Podge. I've done it before with glue stick, but because it's on a cover, I think the Mod Podge will then seal it as well, because I should probably Mod Podge on top. I'm going to have to be very careful because these things are very delicate and it would be very easy to tear it. So I'm a little bit nervous that how well it's going to go because I've not done this on screen before. But I think I'll just take away this board and go straight and use my sorry my mat, which is sort of easier to clean up afterwards if I make a mess, which is quite likely. So I've got my Mod Podge, which is new, so I haven't used it before, so it should be nice and flowing, because I've got an old one that was just got so thick I couldn't actually use it, so I had to get a new one, but never mind. Right, so I think I'm going to do it. Can't decide whether to just do it half at a time or whether just to go for the whole thing in one go. Perhaps because it's quite small, I might just cover the whole thing in one go and just keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't get all, I don't get it all screwed up, messed up and wrinkly. I'm hoping it'll go on flat. At least with a new Mod Podge it won't be too thick and lumpy, hopefully. This doesn't look like I folded it completely straight here. I've just noticed it's not lying as flat as I would have liked. It's a bit late now to start refolding, I know. Oh well, that's a little bit better. Got to quickly get this Mod Podge on before it all starts to dry. Okay. I don't want too thick a layer, otherwise it will look a bit lumpy bumpy. Okay, let's give this a go. Just quickly wipe this so I've not got glue everywhere. Okay, let's see if I can lay this on in one go without getting it in a mess. There we are. I think we're on. See if I can gently smooth it out with my card. It's looking a little bit wrinkly, but I've got to be careful because otherwise. Ooh. How this is going to work out. I think a little bit of wrinkle is probably par for the course. Okay, now what I want to do is do a little bit of Mod Podge on the top as well to seal it. Don't know how this is going to look when it's dry. If it's too wrinkly, I might have to rethink. Don't know. It might just be part of the texture of the whole thing, mightn't it? If this looks horrible, I'll start again. I have more envelopes and I have more napkins. I think I might just have to see how that looks when it's dry. The alternative is to try doing it with a glue stick to start with and maybe Mod Podge afterwards. I might try doing one like that as well, just to see which looks better when it's finished. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that to dry. If it looks okay, it'll be very cute and make a really nice cover. So I'm going to put that aside and see how it looks when it's dry. I'm just going to pause the video for a moment while I have a think what I'm going to do next, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had another go and made a second one using my glue stick and some Mod Podge, and they're both drying, and then we'll have a look in a moment shortly when they're both dry, see which one looks best, and then I'll carry on with that method. But in the meantime, I just thought I'd show you the little signature I've put together. I haven't quite decided if it's complete yet. So I've used some of the digitals that I've had. I've got a variety of digitals. I think this is Allure Books Crafts. It's really, really pretty. I've just cut it down And I've got some pages from Daphne's diary from this year. I just thought that was really pretty. So I just picked out just a few small bits, a bit of writing paper, some of the winter bouquet, some of the red and green scroll paper from Vintage Studio 717, I think. This one is from this Stamperia pad, which I've just bought because I really, really wanted to put some nice scrapbooking paper in, and I love Stamperia paper. So far all I've done is cut out, this was the journaling card, so I thought if I just put 2 of those in, then you've got some journaling space and you've got a lovely, lovely image on the front, so that works quite nicely. This is from one of the digitals I used last year, and for the life of me I can't remember who it's by, but I will try and link it below if I remember. And I've backed it with some of the coffee dye papers that I bought from Roxy Creations, and I've recoloured them, and that's worked out quite well. This is another one. They're all coffee dyed originally, and I've just played around on my computer, which I'm sure you can do, and just recoloured it to make it look Christmassy. So that's just something I just thought I'd give it a go, and it's worked out quite well. Another bit of just writing paper. Another one of the same digitals from Little Books Craft because I really like them. This one's got a cute little squirrel and it's really lovely. This is one of the papers from this year's Christmas time collection that I used. This is just from a jotter pad. This is the same collection as the Father Christmas. And then a bit more from Daphne's diary to go in the middle because it opens out and it says Merry Christmas, so I thought maybe that would look quite nice in the middle. And then there's a really nice little image of a Christmas tree on there. So really just simple, just picking out a few little bits that I liked. But I did wonder whether to put one more page from the Stamperia Classic Christmas collection. Obviously there's lots of things, there's lots of journaling cards and things like that. Quite hard to choose. And I could obviously do one other one. There's this gorgeous Christmas tree, but it's just too big. I wanted to put that on the front. I had considered it for my front cover, but as you can see, it's too big and I don't want to cut it down. And all of these can be cut up and used in the journal, although some of them are a little bit big. This is another possibility, the poinsettia, because I could cut it across there. That would look really nice. So that's a definite possibility, and the lovely red paper on the other side. That's nice, but it's just not quite what I'm in the kind of feel I'm going for. I'm very, very tempted by this one. I think that is just gorgeous scene, and again it would just fit nicely there. So I think because I've got quite a few sort of wintry looking digitals, not all of them, it's a variety, but some of the ones I've gone for are a bit more well, some of them, not many, and the cover is a wintry scene. I think I might just at least have a look to see how this looks in the journal. So yeah, I'm going to cut that, take that one out, because I actually think, it'd be very tempting to make another one and use the poinsettia paper for another one. If it goes well, if it works out okay. This might be the journal I end up using this year. Depends on, how much we actually get to spend time with our loved ones this Christmas. Who knows how it's going to pan out, but I've given myself the option of a smaller journal this year and keep the big one for next year. Let's put that round the right way. So I think I just need to quickly measure, make sure I get the height right, because I want to get the full benefit of the height. So the height I'm doing most of these. This is the This is the tallest one, so I think that's the sort of height I'll be going for, and that is 6 inches. So that's where I shall cut it. I know it probably looks upside down because normally these should be at the top, but because I'm left-handed I have to do it the other way around. So that's 6 inches. Now where does that come to? Because I'm just wondering whether I need to get rid of this bit, but I actually quite like that, and I think this will look fine. Make sure it's straight, and you get the full seam in. That's beautiful. Here we go. Cut that off. Right, and then I will have to cut this down, but I'm not sure where to cut it. Let's put this out of the way. Right, so if I cut it, it goes there, it goes round like that, and I can cut this off, and this will make a nice journaling card anyway. Right, so just trying to figure out. So this is 4, just under 4 1/4. So if I cut that at 8 1/4 across here, that's probably going to fit quite nicely, I think. And then that will, yeah, I think that will work. Okay, get him back. Eight 1/4. Can always trim off a little more if I need to. And then I've got a nice piece left to make something with. That's a lovely piece on its own, isn't it? Right. Ooh, more falling over. Okay, so now I just need to fold this in half. Get it lined up properly. Let's get the old bone folder out. Let's see. So it could go on the front, but actually I still like this as the front. So I might just pop it in just inside. Put it in here. Just as another page. And that goes round. So I think there's a little bit sticking out here, which I might need to do a little bit of trimming up. Some of these, but I won't do that on camera. That's just, it's not really that much. I mean, I think, I don't want to put it in my cover yet, but I think it'll fit nicely within the cover, and as long as it's inside the cover, I don't think it'd be a problem. I might trim this one a little bit because I don't want that bit sticking out. So I might just trim it. Ooh. Just a tad, so it doesn't stick out. I don't mind other bits sticking out, but I don't really want the lined paper. It's not very exciting. I'm very tempted to get one of my border punches to that just to make it a bit more interesting. I think I will. I think I'll use one of my favourites. This is the Martha Stewart border punch. Just makes it a little bit more interesting along the edge there. I'll do that side first. There we are. Line it up. If I get it, if I mess it up, I can always do another piece. No biggie. Just got to remember to line it up properly. And we should be good. There we are. Didn't quite get that bit right. I'll just trim that little bit off. There we are. That just makes it a little bit more interesting. There we are. Okay, so I think the signature is pretty much done now. So I will be back as soon as my covers are both dry, and we'll compare the two, and then whatever method produces the best result, I will then do the back of the cover and the inside. Okay, so I'll be back with you again very shortly. Right, I'm back again, and here they are. They're both dry. Oh, that's got something stuck to it, which is not great. I'll have to... Oh, don't know what that is, but it's really stuck. Okay, so this was the one I did first with just the Mod Podge, and as you can see, it's really, really wrinkly. I mean, it's okay, but this was the one I did second. It's a shame there's a little something stuck to it, but I can cover that up. So this is the one where I started with just doing the glue stick, and then I Mod Podged over it afterwards. And although that is a bit wrinkly, it's nothing like as bad. I don't know if you can see the difference between these two. It's really hard to see if you can see that. So it is a bit wrinkly, but I think this one's better. Even though, unfortunately, I did get... this one is better centred. I've got the lamppost on a bit better, but it doesn't matter. I still think this one looks better. I still prefer it. And the tree is the main thing, and the little bunnies at the bottom. So they're really cute at the bottom there. So that's the one I'm going to go with. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the back now. I did just fold the napkin around the back a little bit because I'm going to put some fabric on the spine, so you won't see that where it overlaps a bit. So the other piece of napkin is this one with the letterbox on it. So I think I'll put that so that we get the little squirrel in as well. So I'll just have him right to the side there. So what I did last time, hopefully it works again, is I just did it half and half at a time. So I did the glue stick from the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. Just give it a good coverage at the bottom there. There we are. So I think part of the problem with the Mod Podge is it started to dry really quickly, and then I got sort of lumps and bumps. This one seems to not dry so quickly. Let's put that right at the bottom, and you can just pull it up a little and flatten it out as you go. That's the theory anyway. Because I'm doing it on camera, it's probably not going to go quite as smoothly as it did the first time. And also I seem to have got some glue on my finger, which isn't helping. So I'll just smooth it down as I go. so that it's actually, before I start adding the layer of Mod Podge to it, is actually, you can get this really quite nice and smooth with the glue stick, which is quite nice. So at least you start off with a smooth covering, and then the Mod Podge doesn't then make it quite as wrinkly, it would seem, as when you start off with that, when it's all gets just too wet, I suppose. And maybe I should have let it dry before I added the second layer of Mod Podge, I don't know. But I think this was actually easier to apply and get it smooth. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, this is nearly out of glue on the nearly out of glue, completely out of glue. I think there's probably just about enough in there if I can pop it back in. I'll have to get another one out in a moment. There. What I forgot to do was have a piece of a wipe ready to wipe up with as I go. So it's getting a bit of a mess otherwise. There we go. Right, so just wipe everything so I'm not catching gluey fingers on my napkin. Right, so hopefully this will just let me finish this off before it all falls out again. Oop, there it goes. That's the last little bit. There we are. And then I can smooth this down. I'm not going to use the card. I think the card was a bit too harsh. I'm just going to do it gently with my finger. Try and smooth out all the wrinkles. There we are. I think I've got rid of more or less all of them. There we are. So I think I might trim it next. I am going to fold a little bit of this around as well, but not too very much, just enough so that it adds an extra layer to the spine then. Okay, just bear with me one moment. I'm beginning to lose the light here. It's sort of mid-afternoon and the light is beginning to go. Hopefully that's enough just to make sure you can still see. At least I can still see now. Right, I'm just going to trim off this bit. Okay. If I wind that round a little bit there, yes, because I am going to, I need a new glue, don't I? One moment. Didn't realise how low I'd got there, otherwise I'd have had this at the ready. I always have trouble getting the top off when it's new, but I managed it. Good. Let's get rid of this old one before it just makes a mess everywhere. Alright, let's just do a little line of glue across the edge here. Don't want it to go too far in. I know we're going to lose our lamppost, which is a shame, but not a big deal in the scheme of things. Might still just about see the lamp, depending on how wide the piece of material is that I end up using. There we are. Right, so what I need to do now, is that folded over properly? No. Seems to have got a bit. That's better. I might just leave this, I'll probably trim this a little bit afterwards as well, but for now I'm just going to gently, if I can find my brush, there it is, I'm going to gently Mod Podge the back. Needs to have the Mod Podge, even though it does make it a bit wrinkly, just to give it that little bit of sealant, like act as a sealant, because it's being the cover. Now last time I did this, the one thing you didn't see when I was off camera, is I opened it with the lid. It's before I added the wax paper to it, and I tipped half of it, not half of it, I tipped a great dollop of it onto my mat. So I'm glad you didn't see me do that, because that was really annoying. So hopefully I won't do that again. And I have now added this bit of wax paper to it, which I've seen Gail, that's how she seals her Mod Podge. Oh, now I've torn it because it was all covered in. I'll have to get a new piece now, never mind. Do that later. Right, enough faffing about. Put the top on there, and let's put my bit of Mod Podge on very gently to try and avoid too much crinkling. There we are. Oh. Seems to be impossible to avoid it completely, but at least doing it this way seems to minimise at least the amount of crinklage we get. And once it's all dry, I'm going to probably, certainly the front, not the back, I'm going to add a bit of decoration, probably a bit of, I think almost certainly I should be adding some glitter glue, make it really sparkly and Christmassy. There we are, I think that will do. I'll come back and add a new piece of wax paper to it after, because it was all mucky anyway. This stuff gets so gummy and gluey and mucky, but hopefully it'll be okay. Right, so that's that. Now I think that's all I can really do for the moment, because everything has to dry. I don't really want to use a hot gun on it, a heat gun, just because I think it might just crinkle it up even more. But I'll just quickly show you, and then when I come back I'll have finished doing it. For the inside, I think this is the one I want to use, because I've got enough to do the whole of the inside, and it's quite a nice general design, because I'm going to be putting pockets and things on the inside of the cover. So one of the things that I'm going to put on, I don't know if I've got that around just to show you, disappeared of course, so I'll have to wait until, here we are, it is buried under here. One of the things I want to do is, I made this a little while ago, I was just experimenting. It's like they call it coin envelope, but without a flap. It's just like a little pocket really, and this is just out of some packaging. I think I had a big roll of it, and I had an odd piece, and I thought I'll give it a go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that as a, oops, I can be very careful. I'm going to put that in here as a flip out, but that'll be after I've done everything else, after I've done the inside. So I think for today, I've still got quite a bit of time left that I can do, so I'm going to have to let this dry, and then I will again come back. This is like one of those videos that just keep constantly going away and coming back again with the next bit done. But you don't really need to see me doing all of this. I'd rather get on and do some of the other things on camera rather than showing you every single step. But that's going to be my inside. So when I come back, that will all be done. So I'll see you again very shortly. It'll probably be tomorrow my time. It'll just be in a few minutes, in a couple of blinks on your time. Okay. Okay, I'm back again the next day. We're all dry, as you can see, both sides, ready to carry on decorating. And I think I'm going to start by adding this little pocket made out of some packaging. It was on a big roll, and I just thought I'd have a go at making this little what do you call it, coin envelope thingy. So I'm just going to attach it using some washi, and I think this one is the one I'm going to use for the outside. So I'm just going to cut it to size, and then I'm going to use some glue, because I don't this is quite an old washi, and I don't think it's particularly sticky anymore. So I think I need to add a little extra glue. Oh, it's about the right length too. Okay, so I'm just going to put it through the glue. There we go. Should be sticky enough, I hope. Let's just pop that on there, about halfway across. Alright, and then I just need to line that up. If that's straight, I can get the envelope straight then, can't I? And wrap it around. And it doesn't look too out of place with the red letterbox on the back there. Okay, so that's on there, and then on this side I'm going to use, I think, this one, which is a little bit thicker than the other one. Yeah, it's still got a reasonable amount of sticky on it, I think, this one, but I think I still might do the same and put a bit of extra glue on it. Let's just check the length. I think I've made it a bit long actually. That'll be fine. Doesn't really matter if it doesn't come right to the end. Oops. Sticking to the glue pot. Glue stick, should I say. Alright. Now this one, because it's got, I think that goes that way, I think looks best. A little crease, but that's okay. And that's in, let's just fold it back on itself, and there we are. Hopefully that'll be okay. It won't keep popping up. Once the journal's all closed up, it won't. it just sticks out a little bit at the side there, but I am planning to put a little trim, I think, of some sort down the edge here anyway, so that'll be fine. I think it'll be okay. It's too late now, it's stuck. In the meantime, I'm going to have a go now at sewing in my signature. It's already clipped. Just get my foam board to put underneath. Now I've just got to do the holes. Try and make sure it's well and truly settled in the middle. Make sure it's centralised vertically in the middle as well. I think we'll go for it. Right, just trying to eyeball the middle. That's one. Two. And about the same distance in from the other side. There we are. There's my holes. And I have my needle ready threaded. I've decided to go for some baker's twine because I thought that looks quite festive. So that's going to go. There's my middle hole gone. There it is. Hopefully it'll all go straight through. Don't know me. It'll miss somehow. Are we there? Oh, because I didn't clip in the cover, did I? That was what I should have done. That was very foolish. So I'm going to have to go through there and then just see where the... Go through there and then go through the cover there. That's it. And leave a nice long piece because I might want to do a bow at the end. Come back through the hole at the top. Through there. And through, try and do it in a straight line and then it will go through the whole set, hopefully. Sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. Can't see what I'm doing myself very well. Right, just line this up. The outer one's got a little bit jagged, unfortunately, because I'm making a mess of it, as usual. Don't know what's gone on here. Somehow it's got torn. I really don't do these very well. I can pull that through, and then oh well, it's a good lesson in how not to do this. There we are. It's come through finally. So when you want to watch people sewing in their signatures, don't watch what I'm doing. This is how not to do it. Or this is how to make it look really difficult when it really shouldn't be. And I know I've done this more than once on camera, and I've never managed to do it particularly well. So I'm afraid that's the way it is. I've got one, and I'm going to go back through the bottom hole. She says, and of course the bottom hole's just somehow not lined up. I don't know why. That one and that one. Okay, get there in the end. I haven't quite finished yet. One more. Got to come back through the middle. Let's make sure we're nice and taut here. I haven't cut this to size. It was just the odd piece I had left. So I thought I just won't cut it until I'm ready to tie it off. Okay, final challenge, back through the middle. When I've done these before I started doing filming, I have done these a few times, I don't think I've ever had so much trouble doing it as I have since I started filming it. Irony. But there we are. Such is life. It should go straight through because it's come through the other way, but no, it's not doing that. Probably because I'm not putting it in straight. Right. I know this is painful to watch, so I may well just turn off the camera if I don't get this through this time, and then come back when it's done, because I wouldn't want to watch somebody doing this, making such a hash of it. Haha. Now, have I managed to come through without coming through? No, of course I haven't. Now, what do they always say? Don't come through the thread that's already there. So that's exactly what I've done. I think I've managed to avoid it. Okay, just pulling it through, which is not terribly easy because it's hard to. My hands are just sliding off the needle. There we are. Okay, I'm through. It's tight on this side. I've got it on either side of this thread. So now we just want to tie it. I'll take the needle off now. I haven't actually used the needle that came with the kit this time. I've used an older, blunter one, which has got quite a nice big eye. Right, I think we're there. Do a little knot, and then I'll do a nice little bow. And then that will be done. And I'm sorry I made such a difficult job of it, as always. I keep thinking if I do it, the more I do it, the better I get at it, but it's not happening yet. One of these days it'll just happen and you'll all be surprised. Alright, okay, so I've just done a little bow for the middle. I'll just leave it like that for now. Okay, now I have put it in the right way up, haven't I? That would be ironic, wouldn't it, if it's upside down? But I think we're okay. Yeah, it's gone. Right, let's take the clips off. Okay, Okay, we'll tuck this in, close it up, and there we have it. Finally, little journal all put together. And I just thought I'd do a little bit of decorating on it on the front. So we'll pretty it up a bit. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a little bit of gold, what this called, metallic luster. It's a sort of gold waxy stuff. It's not really wax, it's more like it's softer than a wax, I think, this stuff. It's like almost like a mousse. I'm just going to go around the edges, just the these raw edges with it. It's a bit kind of weird stuff, quite thick. I just want to give it a little gold edge. I'm getting a bit of a mess with it, but it doesn't really matter. Right, I will put some down this edge, but I am going to put a little bit of trim here as well. It's a bit raggedy on the edge. But I've actually just placed, well, a few days ago, placed an order for some new Christmas ribbons and trims, so I'm going to wait till they're arrived so I can decide what I'm going to put on here. And put that little bit around there. Just kind of gives it that little bit of a finish around the edge. And on the back, hides a multitude of sins as well. Well, it's possibly a little bit rough around the edge, but it doesn't matter. It's only a little journal. It's probably not sure if I'm going to keep it for myself or whether I'm going to send it to my niece in Australia. I just don't know if it's the sort of thing that she'd be into. I think I'll probably make it and see what my husband thinks, because it can take quite a while for it to get to her anyway, so I'm just hoping it would even get there for Christmas. We're still in November at the moment, even though this will be airing in the middle of December. I am still well ahead of myself. Okay, that's just a little bit of shine. I need a bit of wipes to clean my fingers off, otherwise I'll have bits of gold everywhere. Right, and I think what I'll do now is put on my bit of fabric around the spine. I've got a little piece of, I think this was the one, a little piece of fabric that I just want to wrap around the spine. So I'll just do that now. My next little job. Fabric. Ooh. I'm going to be able to do it just so that the little lantern will still show, but it will cover up this bit where I've overlapped the bits of the napkin to add extra strength to the spine. And this will just finish it off, give it that final bit of protection, but it'll also act as a bit of decoration as well. So let's just put some of that all around the sides. I quite often cover up the sewing part, you know, the where I've sewn it in, the thread. So I think that stops that from catching and protects it as well. And if I've made a mess of it, it hides it as well. But it doesn't really look too bad. It's just, I think it looks... I didn't really want to have to sew through the fabric. I think I just adds an extra layer of difficulty, really. Which, as you can tell, I really don't need. I don't need to make it any more difficult than it already is. I can just do it so that the little lantern is still showing. Put some on the other side. Yeah. Okay, and the final little flourish. I'm going to put a bit of glitter on my tree. Here we are. Got a little bit of silver stickles. So I think I'm just going to do a few little touches around. Get this squeeze down, so it's a new one. Might take a moment to come through. Here we go. I'm just going to do a little blob and then just spread it around a bit with my finger. We don't really need blobs, we just need a little sparkle. Spread it around. Need a nice sparkly tree. Doesn't have to be absolutely everywhere. Just want it to pick up a little bit of light here and there. Just little spots of it around. I might see if I've got any anything like a label with Merry Christmas or Season's Greetings or something like that I might put on the front. Haven't decided yet. Haven't had a look really yet. Decide what else I might put on the front. Yeah. Just a little bit more down the bottom here. And I might put a little bit of glitter on the snow, but I'm not going to use the silver, I'm going to use the clear, just to make the snow a little bit sparkly as well. There we are. A bit more there. There we are. I think that looks quite pretty. Right, just got to get my other... Didn't get that one out, did I? Just a second. Okay. That one was the silver one. This is the... What's this one called? Icicle. I thought I'd just put a little bit of the icicle. For some reason this one's really got a really thick nozzle. Put a little bit under each of the bunnies. Just spread it around here a little bit. There we are. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's just catching the light. Oh, got a bit on his nose. That's just pretty. That will do. So what I might do, I might have just a little tiny, I only just want a little tiny something along the edge here, so I have to see what I use. But this now needs to dry anyway, so I can't really do any more work in it right now, which is probably just as well, because I think I've gone over my hour. Okay, so I'll come back with the next video and we'll do some decorating on the inside of the journal. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Bye for now.